All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this second day of Ignite. This is an early morning session. Hope you're all awake. We just managed to get awake ourselves. So we're going to talk today about how to achieve more through people with LinkedIn and Microsoft 365. And my name is Jon Meling, and with me up here is Lionel Robinson. We're both program managers working with Microsoft and the FAST team. So since this is a talk about people, we want to get all of you to know us a little bit better. And as you can see on this map, there's two points of interest. The one at the top is where I'm from. It's Tromsø in Norway. It's way above the Arctic Circle. On an average year, there's snow 7 months out of the 7 months a year on the ground. 2 of those months, the sun does not come above the horizon, so it's pitch black. It can be a cold and desolate place. We also have a Microsoft development office up there. It's actually the northernmost development office in the world, so we're really proud of that. One side note, TripAdvisor actually said that Tromsø is the #3 place on the globe you should visit. And why do people go there? Well, it's not for the Microsoft office, but it is for the Northern Lights. And people come from all over the world to see those Northern Lights. The blue sort of swipe down there points to Redmond. That is where I live now. So I migrated to milder climates. As you can see down at the bottom, that's where Leo is from, sort of where the red arrow starts. He's from a totally different place. He's from Honduras in Latin America. And he also migrated to Redmond. And this just sits above the equator. So as you can imagine, there's some very climate differences between these two places. In Honduras, if it drops to 60 Fahrenheit, they would put on jackets, beanies, and huddle together for warmth. In Tromsø, if it's the same, we take off the same jackets, we throw the beanie, we put on t-shirts and shorts, we run to the beach to celebrate. That's just how it is. And now, we're both in Redmond. It's sort of the mid between these two extremes. And as an anecdote, when we arrived here on Sunday, Leo walked out of the airplane ahead of me, and I could hear this audible sigh of content. And I thought I could hear something like caliente, me gusto, or something like that, some Spanish coming out from him. Whereas me, on the other hand, when I walked out, I was hit by a brick wall of heat. I just wanted to crawl back into the airplane, hide in the air condition. Unfortunately, the air hostess would not have that, and she kicked me out. So here we are now. So with that slightly useful information about me and Leo, let's turn our attention to the topic at hand, namely how to achieve more through people and with LinkedIn and Microsoft. So first, we're going to talk about FAST, the people team, sort of the journey we've had, why we're thinking about people experiences the way we do. Then we're going to dive into the demo portion of this session. It's going to be quite a lot of demos. We're basically going to demo everything today. So it's going to be some slideware initially, and then it's going to be demos throughout the session. We're going to look at people cards and how they appear across Microsoft 365. And we're going to look a little bit at some of the other integrations we're doing in Outlook, because Outlook is one of the big workloads in Microsoft 365, and people experiences are starting to appear there as well. As a grand finale, we're going to turn our attention to LinkedIn. We're going to look at different things. We're going to look at the LinkedIn integration inside of Microsoft 365. It's been 2 years since we acquired LinkedIn, and now you're going to see some of the value that we are starting to accrue from that partnership with LinkedIn. Then after that, we're going to look at the user journey, how you connect your account to LinkedIn and what that entails. And then we're going to wrap up by the administrative portion of the session, where you as a tenant admin and how you can influence how LinkedIn is viewed inside of your tenant. One thing to note, we're going to set aside quite a bit of time for Q&A at the end, because we know people have questions about this. And there's going to be 3 microphones. Questions will be rewarded with a really nice LinkedIn Microsoft bottle. So please take aside time to ask questions. And we will be here after the session as well if you need more details. All right. So we want to start here. You've seen this slide many times. It was last showed yesterday at Satya's keynote. I hope you all caught that keynote. It was really good. And the Microsoft mission of empowering every person and every organization to achieve more, it's really core at all the decisions we make at Microsoft. It's really important for us. It's not just an empty set of words. We hope that you see this in the products that we make. And when we design features, we think about how can we make this useful for an enterprise, and how can we make this useful for the end user inside of that enterprise. So, in the FAST people team, we have our own mission statement. And that mission statement is to achieve more through people. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking about this. Actually, August this year, we had our 10-year anniversary at Microsoft. So we were required in 2008 to drive search in SharePoint. And we're still doing that. We're doing a lot of search work in SharePoint and across M365. We were on the entire journey of bringing SharePoint from an on-premise solution to the cloud through SharePoint Online. And in 2011, we started tinkering with what was to become a graph. So what people are working together, what documents are they working on. This later became known as the Office Graph. And the Office Graph is tightly integrated into the Microsoft Graph. And we did this to improve search relevance. But as the graph grew and had more relationships, we understood we could actually build experiences on top of this graph. And the first experience that was built this way was Delve. I don't know if you've heard about Delve. Nods. Anybody use Delve? All right, awesome. Delve is good because you can go there and see documents that people in your company are working on. As long as you have access to it in the first place. We're not going to show anything you don't have access to. The other good thing about Delve is you can go and search for people. And you get a lot of rich information that is usually fragmented across all of Microsoft 365, brought into one UX surface, where you can sort of digest and learn more who that person is. Even though it's a great destination, it's also that. It's a destination. You have to go there to do this. And that will take you out of the workflow that you're in. So we want to bring this to you in the work that you're doing. Have it at the tip of your fingers. So in 2016, we started the journey of bringing the Delve smartness into the profile cards. And fast forward 2 years, the profile card is now in 20 different workloads across Microsoft 365. And it's the same experience brought on by what we learned when we owned or delivered Delve and what people did there. So we do believe that people is the most important resource any company can have. Unfortunately, for a long time, people experiences have been sort of neglected in our products. And you could see this by having different set of people representations wherever you went. We are changing that as a people team. We're bringing coherency across all of these different endpoints so that you see the same thing depending on which workload you're in. So it is a bit smart. Some workloads will have some of the card looking a little bit differently, but it's basically the same information. So to capture what we're doing, we came up with a set of user jobs. This is sort of our guiding principles for whatever we do inside of Microsoft, or inside of the people team. And on the people card, you will find 3 of these. You find communicate, refine, contextualize. And I'm going to explain a little bit what we mean with each one. I think communicate is probably the one that is most readily understood. It is basically providing you contact information, providing you ways to reach someone, either through phone, through Teams, or through email. Refine is getting back to information you know existed. So people are sharing files with you, but you don't remember where they shared it from. Was it an email? Was it from Team site? Was it from OneDrive for Business? But you do remember who shared it with you. So opening up the card, we will give you that information. We know through the Microsoft Graph which documents a person has shared with you. Contextualize is a little bit more vague, but it's when you don't know someone. So you say you get a meeting invite or an email from someone you don't know. Understanding who that person is key to how you come into a meeting or how you respond to an email. So if it's a CVP sending you an email, you want to maybe put a little bit more thought into that email, right? Whereas this is somebody on your level, you might be quicker in your response. And we have a lot of things on the people card that will help you contextualize someone. The photo is a great example. You see what they look like, so if you pass them in the hallway, you come into the meeting room, you know who you're looking at. Name, all of those things. The org chart, we're going to show you all of this later. All of these things are there to help you contextualize who someone is. So the last one is discover, and that is about finding information that you did not know existed. And it allows you to find information that other people in your company are looking at that you have access to. The classic example, and most of you already have known Delve or seen Delve, is Delve. We have other examples. You can find this in OneDrive for Business. You can also find this at Outlook or at Office.com. So despite all this rich information that we used to have, and we also have now, the fragmentation of people experiences are coming together. We're giving you one view of what the person looks like across all of Microsoft 365. All right. So that was enough talking. We're going to start and head over to the demo session part of this. Switch to mobile.
7.
All right, 6.
Yep.
6. All right, so in this demo, I'm Diego. I am an employee for Lucerne Publishing International. And you can see it? Yeah. I'm going to work, and while I'm going to work, I want to start triaging my email. So I open up Outlook, and I see I have 400 emails that I want to go through. One of them immediately pops out because it's someone I do not know, and that is Jordan Miller down here. I'm going to turn this on so you can actually see where I'm pointing. I'm going to click on Jordan Miller, and he's asking for some usage numbers from August for a service review for our new portal. I don't know who he is yet, but I'm going to start looking into that. So I click on the photo, and up comes the people card. So this is the same people card you saw Jeff Teeper show yesterday at the 2:15 session. And it gives me a lot of information about Jordan. So now I'm in the contextualize mode. So the photo is a little bit small, so I'm going to click on that, get a bigger photo. And now at least know what it looks like. So if I pass him in the hallway or I'll get to the meeting, I do know that. I'm going to go back. So what is his role? Well, if I click on show more, I get a lot of information. I see he's in engineering department. I see he's a product manager. I can also see his office location. And if I scroll down a little bit further, this is not working with me. Cancel. All right. I should get rid of that one. Not working as well as I hoped. Down at the bottom of this, why does it do that? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to go to the people card again. See his face. There we go. Click on show more. And at the bottom here, you can see an about section. And as I said, this data is coming from all across Microsoft 365. And this particular data is coming from the Dell profile. And he has actually put in some effort into his Dell profile. I can actually read that he's new to the company. I can see his current, his last positions at different companies across. So he's been at HP, Dell, and Sony. So now I get a better understanding of who this person is. Where is he in the organization? So I see that he reports to Li Gu, which is director at our company. I can click on the organization tab, which will show me the entire org. So I will see all the way up to the president of the company, and I can also see people he's working with inside the company. All right, so back to the question Jordan had. He is looking for usage numbers from August that he wants to use in a monthly service review. I do remember that I've had those. I just don't remember where it is. I think I remember who shared it with me though, so I'm going to try to search for that person instead. So I think it was shared by a colleague of mine named Kimberly. And typing 3 characters, I quickly find Kimberly Reyes. And if I scroll down, I see the files that she has shared with me all at the bottom. And there is usage numbers for August. So I'm going to click on that. And at the top right, I can actually share the document right in here. And I'm going to type, this is going to Jordan. Type to Jordan Miller. Right, and then here they are. I'm going to send that. So using my phone, coming to work, I managed to get a lot of stuff done with the help of Outlook Mobile and the people card integration or the profile card integration inside of Outlook Mobile. It's helping me contextualize someone. It's helping me to refine documents all on the go. So when Diego gets to the office, he's not going to sit with his mobile phone. He's going to use a large screen. And his large screen of preference is Outlook Web. And we know that people use Outlook Web or Outlook Desktop. They usually don't use both. So we're going to show later on the Outlook Desktop. And also you notice that I did not click on LinkedIn during this demo. That is intentional because Leo is going to show you all of the LinkedIn stuff later on. So that is coming. All right, so he's in his office and he wants to learn, or he wants to actually find a file that somebody shared with him previously. So Alex is the guy that we're looking for. Let's start typing. Come on. Why is this not showing up? Are we seeing this? There we go. I want to find a file Alex Wilbur shared with me. So I click on Alex. 2 things happen now. As you can see in top in the search box, there's a people pill. That people pill tells you that we have scoped this to Alex Wilbur, so that everything you search for after that will be prefixed with Albert. So if I start typing for a specific term, it will all be with Alex in mind. The other thing is, beneath the search box and above the message list, there's a people card. We call this a people-centric view. So it's information about the person whose information you're looking for. So I can see his photo, I can see his name, and I can see his email address. To bring up the card is just hovering over that person. And this is the same card I showed you on mobile. But being on a larger screen, I want to take advantage of that extra surface. So if I click on contact information, we go to this. This is what we call the expanded view of the people card. So it has the same information, but it also has room for more. So where you on the card, on mobile, had to sort of switch to the backside of the card. Here we're using the real estate we have disposable, we have accessible to show you the information laid out in a better way. So I was looking for a file, and as you can see, we have a rich file view. All of these will open the file. You can do all of the sharing activities we've done on mobile. But the thing that really shines on the expanded view is the organization view. So if I click on this, I see the whole chain of command for Alex. And I also see everyone he's working with. But this is also good for navigation. So say that I want to find who Alex is working with, who are his peers. So if I click on Adele, we pivot the entire card to be about Adele. And then we see everybody who's reporting to her. So here we see Christy and Emily, both coworkers. And if I want to then look at what happens with Adele, I can just basically keep on browsing here. At the top left corner, you see a back button. This will actually then take me back to Alex. So I can actually explore the organization using this mechanism. All right. So I search for a person, and that is deliberate. Do you know that actually 50% of all searches in Outlook are for people? People try to re-find email and conversations through the lens of a person. And have you found yourself searching for the same person over and over and over again? Wouldn't it be great if we had a way to make that person a favorite and put them in the left nav of Outlook so that you don't have to do that? Well, you can do that. You see this star in the people-centric view? I click on that. Immediately in the left nav down here, I see Alex. So then, if I now click on Alex, this will perform a search-like experience for you. It will always be there. And what's more, you will also get unread counts. When new emails comes in, the unread count will go up. You're made aware that that person has sent you a new email. So it gives you this peripheral awareness of the people that really matter to you and allows you to stay on top of them. And this is already available in targeted release for Outlook Web. I'm going to show you that we're not only looking at web experiences, so I'm going to change back to mobile. So if I go back here and click on email, at the top left, will be your left, yes, there's like a hamburger menu. If I click on that, you see number 4 down there, Alex Wilbur. This roams to Outlook Mobile as well. So for iOS, this is already in dog food and or in beta and will come within this calendar year to your iPhone and also Android. Just to show you that it roams, I can change the order. So I can drag and drop Alex right beneath my inbox. I click on save. I go back to, this is 7. Back to mobile, you see he's still down here, but if I refresh, so this is live working code. You can try this out using Outlook Web and Outlook iOS. And we hope that this is going to make life easier for you. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Leo.
Awesome. Well, thank you, John, for the introduction. And also, as we've seen, John has showed us a lot of the core user actions that people take around people, whether it be contextualized, to learn who they are, to refine, or communicate and to take those quick actions. And now I'm going to go through some of those, and I'm going to show you how it just gets better with the LinkedIn integrations that we've done so far. So we're back in the driver's seat of Diego Siciliano, and now he's at his desk. And he continues to use Outlook Web, and we'll get to Outlook Desktop in a little bit. But he continues to use Outlook Web, and now he's at his desk, and he's going to go triaging through his emails. So the next email he has is from Nelly. And in this case, Nelly is introducing a new member to the team. She's welcoming Gebhard Stein. And apparently, he's an internal transfer. He's going to join the team as a managing director. But apart from that, she doesn't really give much more information. She doesn't really give like where he used to work, what his experience is, or much else. So I'm going to go quickly into the card. And here you can see all the details that are coming from the company directory. Much like John showed, you see the contact details, we can see who it reports to, you see the emails. But you also get to see the LinkedIn panel. And the LinkedIn panel in this case is showing us that we have a few potential matches that could correspond to Gebhard Stein. So let's go ahead and dive in. So here we see the matches. We see 3 by default, but you can open it up to show more. And here, it's on us to be able to go and verify which of those matches actually matches up to Gebhard Stein. Because basically, in many cases, your LinkedIn profile isn't going to be set up with your work account. So, and there will be many cases where we can't actually provide, we don't really know with high confidence that yes, this is 100% Gebhard Stein. In this case, there are a few elements that are on the screen, especially on the top result. They kind of hint away that yes, this is definitely Gebhard Stein. Mainly, in the case of this demo, it is exactly the same picture. So that gives us a high degree of confidence that is the same person. But also, pulling in the information that you get from LinkedIn, you can see that it also says that he's the managing director at the same company. He works in San Francisco Bay Area. And it also shows that there are multiple mutual connections that you have on with him at LinkedIn. All of these giving you really solid hints that that is the right person to select. So let's go ahead and select. And now we have the LinkedIn tab fully showing his LinkedIn, a part of his LinkedIn profile. At the very top, you get all the information about his current position. You get his picture, his name as he has it on LinkedIn. You have where he works, the location, and the number of connections that he has. Down below, as you scroll down, you can see that it shows the highlights. What are the mutual connections that we have with Gebhard? And in many cases where if it's someone, even if it's an internal transfer or someone that's inside the company, it's always interesting to see who do you have as a mutual connection. It might hint to what a couple elements that you have in common, previous projects that you've worked on, or who can give you a warm introduction to Gebhard, or who can give you the insider track on what it's like to work with Gebhard. You also see his previous work experience. A lot of the times we just show, hey, this is where I work right now, and I've been here so many years, but now looking at the LinkedIn profile, you get to see what he's added on his profile as previous to working at Lucerne as a managing editor, what he was working on. And we would also be able to see previous education as well. Notice at the top, you have the little green box, which is telling us that this LinkedIn profile has been matched. What this is telling us is that once I clicked on that search result, it remembered it for me. So the next time that I come to the card, let's go ahead and close that out really quickly. The next time I come to the card, I'm not offered those search results. It's made that match specifically for me, so that the next time that I go here, I can just dive in the panel, showing me really quick highlights coming from LinkedIn, or I can just quickly go to the profile, and after a while, that green box is going to go away, but you also have the ability, if you touched one of those search results by accident, or by looking at the full profile, you notice that it isn't actually the right person. You can go to the overflow menu, and you can say, this is actually not Gebhard. So really quickly, you have the power of LinkedIn, seeing their portion of their profile directly in Outlook Web without leaving context and easily dismissible, so you can carry on with your task. Now, as we've mentioned before, Diego, in this case, he's mainly an Outlook Web user, but a lot of the questions that we get when we show this experience is, well, mainly the first question we get, when is it coming to Outlook Desktop? That there's a large portion of Outlook users that are mainly focusing on desktop, and that's what they use. So I'm happy to show. Let's quickly show over to desktop. So this is Diego, now being heavily a desktop user. We get the same experience, the same card, with the contact details coming in from the company directory, organization, and you also get the LinkedIn profile directly inside Outlook Desktop. So this experience right now is in Insider Fast, the Insider Fast audience, and will continue to roll out by the end of this calendar year. So going back to Outlook Web, we continue with a couple of our demos. And there's a special case in which this experience of being able to see someone's LinkedIn profile really shine. So as we talked about before, you have a couple main user jobs when you take a look at the profile card. one of them being contextualized, of being able to get to know more about a certain person. And LinkedIn really gives you the ability of filling in the gaps when you don't actually have information coming from your company directory. It might be that the positions aren't filled in, the about section isn't really filled in. It really gives you, so LinkedIn kind of fills in those gaps and gives you that information. But in the next email that Diego's gonna go through as he's going through his day, he gets an email from Gemicon. Gemicon, as it stands with this email, it's kind of a little sketch. You don't really know, is this coming from a real person? Did I actually meet this person at a conference? And this is actually a situation that a lot of you might go through in this conference. You're at Ignite, there's 23,999 other attendees along here with you. You're gonna meet a lot of them. And there's a high chance that you're gonna connect with them on LinkedIn, and they might approach you later. Hey, remember we were talking about X, Y, and Z, we were talking about Contoso. It'd be awesome to meet up later. We actually live in the same city, or hey, I'm in town, we should grab a coffee. That might happen a year from now. Me, for one, I am really bad remembering names. So right now, all I see is Gemicon's name and I see his initials. It's not really much help for me to remember, hey, who is this actually the same person that I was talking to, or who was this person? Especially if it's as vague as, hey, let's meet up and let's grab a coffee. So in this case, by looking at the card, I get to see his LinkedIn information. And here, very clearly, there's a couple different places where information can come from for Gem. Either from AAD, from my company directory, or either from my personal contact list. And in this case, I don't have either of those, but I definitely get a match from LinkedIn. And if you notice right now, you're not getting search results. This is an excellent case where the email that came from Gem happens to be the same email that he used to create his LinkedIn profile. And in that very case, we don't show you search results. We just give you that exact match, and you don't have to go and filter through and see if it's actually him. We have that confidence to be able to provide his LinkedIn profile directly in the card. So now by going to that profile, you get to see his picture. You see the face. Yes, now I remember who he is. I remember the conversation we had. I get to see his full details, work experience, education. If I want to dive more, there's a few links that you can click that would send you off to LinkedIn.com. But a lot of the times, this is going to be enough to really jog your memory and remember who he is. And if we note...
Yeah, one thing to note also, since this is his profile in LinkedIn, I don't have to do contact management here. He's doing all of the contact management. I just get served the fresh data from LinkedIn. I don't have to think about his title or anything. All of that is handled by the person who owns that profile, and I'm just the viewer of it, which is great because you spend a lot of time in certain areas to do contact management. This is contact management done for you by the person who you're looking at.
So, as John mentioned, in order to show this information, we're not doing an import to your directory. This is getting the information live off of LinkedIn. So it's going to be as fresh as the person has their profile on LinkedIn. A lot of the benefits that you get from that, one, the picture. Through data, we've seen that it's about 20% case that someone will provide a picture. So 80% of the time, you're only going to be seeing initials along with the name. So being able to see someone's picture is of great value to know what they look like, especially if you haven't met them before. That way, you're armed with that knowledge. So if you run into them in the hallway, you're going to be able to know who they are and look them directly in the eye and address them as they are. Another reason, having fresh pictures brings incredible value. For example, John and I, we work at Microsoft. We run into many, many people that have been around for a long time at Microsoft, 15 years plus. They might have a picture, but it might be their picture from the intern days 18 years ago. It really doesn't look like them. Actually deters from the experience of meeting them. They don't look like the person that sent me the email or the person that sent me a meeting invite. So by being able to see their LinkedIn profile, I'm able to see that fresh picture, that fresh information. And in this case, as you can see at the top of the screen in the dark header, where you have his current information, there's a connect button on the top right. I'm able to quickly, from this screen, send an invitation to connect. And in this case, in this very scenario, this is a prime moment to actually send an information, to send an invitation, so that I can further complete my network on LinkedIn. Jem has approached me, we've actually met before, and it's one click away to convert him from a third-degree connection to a first degree.
And later on, we're going to show you some really good examples of why we think expanding your network in LinkedIn is very important.
All right. So moving on. So now that Diego, going back into Diego as a driver's seat, now that he's finished going through his email, there's one more, but that's from Alan. I'm not really interested in that one. So the next task that he has at hand is to take a look at his calendar. So I'm going to quickly go over to Diego's calendar here, still in Outlook Web, and to be able to see what are the meetings that I have coming for today. And I note that there's a meeting coming up at 10 a.m., which is a design review. So let's go ahead and click into that, because I want to be ready for it. I want to remind myself what it's about, and who's going to go. So this is the usual calendar. I can see what time it's going to be. This is a 1-hour meeting. It's going to be at the Rainier conference room, and on the right-hand side, I can see the list of attendees and their response. Are they coming or are they not coming? These are all core elements that Outlook provides in the calendar. The new element that I want to call out, and you probably noticed it already, on the left-hand side in the middle, we're providing highlights of the attendees that are going to the meeting, pulling in tidbits of information coming from LinkedIn and a few other sources. A couple of examples that we have, we see that the last email that I have from Alice was more than 2 years ago. This is a very interesting scenario that a lot of us has gone through, and through user tests, a lot of people have really enjoyed this, where it really jogs your memory of a lot of those scenarios or cases where I know I've worked with this person, I've seen her face before, but I don't remember exactly when, what project it was. But this, with one click away, I can go open that email and remind myself, hey, we used to work maybe on small business websites back in the day, or on other features in SharePoint, or other features in Lucerne Publishing. The other one that we have on the right, it's actually pulling out that Kimberly, it's her birthday today. Now this is pulling information from LinkedIn. Of course, this is information that she has posted, so you'd be able to see this if you were to go ahead to linkedin.com, but this is putting it into context right at your fingertips where it needs to be, so that hopefully, if Kimberly Reyes is a really close colleague, this gives Diego the opportunity to dash out, grab a cake, bring it to the meeting, and celebrate the anniversary of her birth. I can click in to see a few more insights, in this case, one more insight. The other example that we have is Gebhard Stein, the same Gebhard that was just introduced in the previous email by Nelly, is celebrating tenureship inside the company. So now I get a good sense of how long he's been at Lucerne, and also I'm able to be the one that really uses that as an icebreaker in the meeting. We all know that in most of the meetings that we go to, the first 5 minutes, it's somewhat like a social gathering before you really get productive. And we're taught that you kind of need to let those 5 minutes happen so that you can have a better and more efficient meeting. You create deeper connections with people. You're more impactful. You're more memorable as a team, and you kind of do that team building exercise. So having these icebreakers at hand, having these tidbits of information, you're armed to go into the meeting and to really excel and achieve more through people.
So in this case, it's really important to get the understanding of your relationship to someone else right. To give an example, I walk into a meeting with a total stranger. That stranger comes up to me and says, "Happy birthday." I would be a little bit, whoa, how did you know that, right? So we need to be mindful of serving this information to the people. So we're using machine learning to understand how close you are with the people inside of your organization. So in this case, if I come to a meeting with Leo, I would definitely see a happy birthday or 10 years at Microsoft. But if I'm meeting a total stranger, I would be driven towards the other spectrum, where we look at, hey, have you attended the same school? Have you worked at a different company at the same time previously? So this is really important to get right. And we also want to use the same information when we look at people cards. So if you look at the people card for a total stranger, you're most likely in the contextualized user job, or sort of understanding who that person is. There, we want to lay out the card differently and optimize your experience to help you solve that particular task better. Whereas if I'm looking at somebody I work with a lot, we might put information that you want to re-find, that you want to find again, like files and email conversations at the top. So these are things that we are experimenting with. We want to get this into Compass as quickly as possible so that we can get qualitative feedback on it. And Leo can get back to the timeline for when this will ship.
So as John mentioned, what you're seeing here is a preview. This is an internal preview that we're trying out because we really want to get that feedback of what are the valuable insights that you want to see or the valuable highlights that you want to see on people, depending on are they close colleagues, are they strangers to me, or have I actually met them before but I haven't worked for them for a while. We want to get this out to Compass as well so that we can continue to get that early feedback. Now, that said, we do plan to get an experience showing you highlights inside meetings into targeted release by the end of this calendar year. Now, one note, you might see different highlights because we're going to feed off of the feedback that we get. Other highlights that we show, other pieces of information are, for example, just showing you the mutual connections, especially in the case where we know that you haven't met that person before. Other important detail is that the design will also be different because we really want to integrate with a new design that's coming up for the Outlook for this very surface of seeing the meeting details in an Outlook calendar. Now, if you're interested in that design, I don't want to steal their thunder. There's a talk. It's session BRK. It's a breakout 3136. What's amazing and new in calendaring and Outlook? I highly recommend it. That's on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock if you're interested in that. And I want to go back to still in Diego's shoes, going back to that email from Jim Icon. He remembers that yes, I actually do want to meet with Jim, but Diego in this case he loves connecting two people together, and he remembers that there was someone else that he met at that conference. Again, very bad with names. I know it started with Dio, but I don't really remember much else, but I remember the conversation we had. I remember the face, and this is an awesome opportunity. We're all in the same location to actually pull them all together. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the addressing in the two-line. I'm just going to type ahead, DO, and it's not Douglas, it's not Kenny Dominguez, it's not Dolly. Yes, it is Dolores Oll. That is the person. I remember her. She's the one that we met at the conference. If you notice, there's something different about that force suggestion. This is coming directly from LinkedIn. After you've connected your accounts, connecting your Microsoft account and connecting your LinkedIn account, we're able to suggest contacts that you have or connections that you have from your first degree connections on LinkedIn that have allowed you to view their email. So directly in Outlook, you're able to use the power of both graphs, your company directory, your personal contact lists, and your LinkedIn network together. So I'm going to go ahead and add Dolores, and I'm going to say yes. And I can actually even mention Dolores. Great, and now I'm actually accomplishing the task of connecting the two people that I met at the conference, building up each other's networks, and having an awesome conversation so that we can move forward.
And it's great to have your entire LinkedIn network at your fingertips. And this is not only coming in Outlook, this is also coming in file sharing experiences across Microsoft 365. So if you go to PowerPoint, you would be able to share documents in the same way. You don't have to remember all of these email addresses. LinkedIn and Microsoft remembers them for you and puts them at your fingertips. So we hope that really helps you be more productive.
And again, this isn't something that you have to manage apart from connecting with people on LinkedIn. It's pulling it live, the live suggestions from LinkedIn. It's not doing an import of said contacts. So before we switch back, so there's one demo, there was one LinkedIn integration that I do need to show. through a slide. And before I do, I just want to see through a quick show of hands, like who has a LinkedIn profile? Basically everyone here, that's great. So of those that have LinkedIn profiles, who has a premium service, a premium subscription on LinkedIn? Whether it be LinkedIn Premium, Sales Navigator, or any of the other ones. Great,
Almost
actually
half.
half the room, that's actually pretty awesome. So with that, what's number one, right?
5.
So with that, I'm really happy to announce, as we've seen and as we've shown, you see profiles, you see LinkedIn profiles inside the profile card. If you have a Sales Navigator subscription, a premium, that premium subscription, we'll be able to bring that functionality directly and into that surface and build on top of the functionality that we've just showed you today. And this will also be available at targeted release by the end of this calendar year. So if you have that Sales Navigator subscription, you'll be able to save contacts as leads. You'll be able to see team link connections, which is not direct connections that you have with that person, but who else on your team could give you that warm introduction of that person. You can see additional highlights that you can use as icebreakers in meetings and to meet with them for the very first time or to have that really warm and effective meeting. If you want more information on this, there's a demo there's a session where this is going to be included. It's breakout 2129. This is happening, I believe, on Friday morning, which is our Microsoft Dynamics crew, which will also show a little bit about Sales Navigator. So to recap, we've seen a couple of the different integrations that we have with LinkedIn. We've seen how it shows up on the profile card, how it shows up in email addressing, previews of experiences that are coming soon, inside meetings that give you those highlights, and the Sales Navigator with premium subscriptions that you have on LinkedIn lighting up in that very same experience that we want to provide. All of these focused on helping you achieve more through people and making your interactions with people more effective, strengthening those connections that you have with them, and helping you build that very same network that is going to cycle back and make these experiences even better. And these experiences, just as John mentioned, we want to make sure that they're smart, they're intelligent. The very example that he mentioned, using social distance to really highlight or to really help decide which are the right tidbits of information that will give you the most value in these experiences. All on top of a platform that takes privacy to heart and that you trust.
And think about the usefulness in a small, medium business where you're mostly external facing to have this tool at your fingertips. If you're in a sales position or marketing, it's really helpful. You're mostly outward facing. So you don't have to do contact management. You can just leave that to this LinkedIn integration. And all you have to do is set up that connection between Microsoft and LinkedIn. And Leo will now show you exactly how to do that.
So for the next portion of this session, we're going to go through what it takes as a user to connect your Microsoft account with LinkedIn.com. We're going to go through that binding flow. If I say the word binding, that's what I'm talking about, that connection between Microsoft and LinkedIn. And then once we show that, we'll show you how to manage it at the user side. If you change your mind, how to disconnect both of the consents that you do, as well as an IT admin, the person that is in charge of the tenancy and experience of numerous users, how you can manage this experience to enable it for your users, or to scope it down to a specific set, or even to turn it off if you wish. So going back to, you see that?
6.
Nope, 7. So going back to the experience that we showed, the very first time, if you haven't connected your accounts, you're going to get an experience similar to what you see on the screen, or exactly what you see on the screen, where it's going to invite you to make that connection. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to go through a series of screens that help connect your Microsoft account with your LinkedIn account. And we all know that signing up for services and signing into yet another service is a nuisance. It's a pain, especially in the case where, for example, in the next step, I believe I'm going to get asked, where you might have forgotten or you haven't saved that password for LinkedIn, especially because you probably created it 5 years ago, And you probably have to go through that process of, I forgot it, yes, let me reset it. So we do know that it is a nuisance, but we really want to make sure that you understand what data will be shared when you connect those two accounts, and that you are definitely in control of accepting that or just letting it be and saying, you know what, I'm not comfortable with it.
And you only have to do this once. Anywhere you go inside of Microsoft, you have to do this once. We're not going to ask you in every workload to do this.
Yep.
It's a one-time thing.
So it's a one-time connection. The next time, if you were to start this with the experience in Outlook Web, and then you switch to your mobile device, the experiences that we have there for LinkedIn are going to light up just as well with that very same connection. So you only have to do it once. The first step. So the first step is connecting your Microsoft account and letting Microsoft connect to LinkedIn on your behalf as you to be able to pull in information from your profile, to be able to know who you're connected with, and pull in information from your connections to be able to render those profiles that we saw in the profile card. So being able to bring that directly to your surface in Outlook Web, keeping you in context and keeping you in the flow. Interests will be used to help make sure that you're seeing the right highlights, the right tidbits of information about people. And then subscriptions is that key element that we talked about at the very end, where by knowing that you have a Sales Navigator subscription, those are the subscriptions that we meant that we're referring to in this, we'll be able to light up that premium feature directly in Outlook. So I'm going to go ahead and accept. And this step is definitely required to be able to see and to enjoy those 4 different experiences that we saw earlier. The second step, this step is optional. This is allowing LinkedIn to get a small set of information from your Microsoft account. And what this is going to allow by consenting to this flow of data, it's going to make your experience on LinkedIn.com a whole lot better. And I'll go straight to an example. So if I note here on LinkedIn, this is still as Nelly, there's a portion of LinkedIn that really helps you build that network and has that network effect of once you accept one person, it gives you a list of people that you might know, recommendations of who to connect with. But with that flow of information where LinkedIn is able to see a little bit of information from your Microsoft account, it'll be able to see who you work with, who do you meet with, who do you usually communicate with, to give you a really solid set of the people that you might know and that are high chance that would definitely build up the strength of your personal network. So no longer would you see some random faces in that list as you scroll down. Those would definitely be people that you work with every day. And as we've experienced, once we have these features, it's delightful and it's a little scary at the same time, noticing that how full of gaps your network is. There's a lot of people that you work with, and being able to have them one touch away and all these different integrations is of high value, especially and even in your day job. So those are the 2 different steps that you need to do to be able to connect your Microsoft account with LinkedIn, allowing both sides of flow of information from one end to the other. Now, if I were to say and change my mind, I can go.
One thing first.
Yeah.
So when we show you information from LinkedIn, you as a user, you as a profile owner on LinkedIn, set which properties we are allowed to see.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is super important, because if we expose something that is set to private on LinkedIn, we're violating the trust. And LinkedIn takes this as seriously as we do at Microsoft. So Leo is going to show you.
So right here, and what John was mentioning, in privacy settings, LinkedIn has a wealth of levers to be able to control what part of my profile will actually be shown. As on LinkedIn.com and outside of LinkedIn.com, is my email going to be visible to my first-degree connections? If not, it will not appear in these experiences. Is my picture visible? And there's even levers that I can use on LinkedIn.com to guarantee that my profile is only visible on LinkedIn.com and not any third-party integrations. So even if that is set, you will not appear in profile cards. You will not appear in any of these integrations that we have. So we definitely respect all the privacy settings that you manage on LinkedIn. and we don't violate any of them. So back in Diego's seat, if I were to change my mind and say, you know, I actually don't want to have this integration. I don't want to have that consent of data flow for any reason. I can come back. I can go to my account settings. In partners and services, right here, there's a Microsoft section that highlights that your Microsoft account was connected, and your Microsoft account from the specific company that you're working on, in this case, Contoso. It'll even give you the information of when you actually made that account, very detailed, so you're confident that yes, this is the instance when this is the exact instance when I connected my accounts. And if I click this blue link right here, remove, that will disconnect that first consent that we saw in the connection flow, where you're allowing Microsoft to get information from LinkedIn.com. Now, as you remember, there were 2 steps in that connection flow. For the second step, in your account in Active Directory, you can go to your settings on the top right. You go to Profile. And once it loads, at the very bottom of the screen, you're going to see that connection with LinkedIn. And you'll be able to see, it'll describe what is the connection that is happening. Let me try that one more time. So here's my profile. Here are my computers that I have connected. At the bottom, you have the connection of LinkedIn, stating that you've allowed permissions for LinkedIn to connect to your Microsoft account, to pull information to make your experience on LinkedIn better. But in this case, if I change my mind and I want to sever this connection, I just click this link, remove these permissions, and immediately LinkedIn will no longer have access of that information to be able to make your LinkedIn experience light up even better. So just as easy as it was to be able to connect your accounts, you would definitely have the ability to sever those connections if you so wish. So with that, we've kind of covered what are the controls that you have as an end user to be able to connect your Microsoft account with your account on LinkedIn. So now I'll switch over to what are those controls that you have as a tenant admin, the administrator of your tenancy, to be able to control these experiences, all the experiences that we just showed you. Go back. I'll stay here. So in Azure Active Directory Admin Center, if you go to users and then you go to user options, you can see that at the middle of the screen, you have the options of LinkedIn account connections, which gives you 3 choices to be able to enable this, to be able to manage these experiences. Now, as we roll out this experience, or the multiple LinkedIn experiences that we have, and even with the first one, we are rolling this out on by default with a couple exclusions, and just to be very accurate. If your tenants are provisioned in Germany or France, it's going to be off by default. It'll still be available, but it'll be off by default. And also, the integration as a whole will not be available currently in Microsoft Cloud for US government, Microsoft Cloud Germany, or Azure and Office 365 operated by 21vietNet in China. So, but for the rest of us, it will definitely be on by default. And the reason we want it to be on by default is because we really stand behind the value that these integrations provide for end users to be able to accomplish those 4 user jobs that we had at the very beginning, that John walked through at the very beginning of the talk, to help you contextualize, help you get to know people, fill in the gaps of information that we have if they were to exist from the company directory or even from your own personal account, and give you those really awesome integration points that you would encounter day by day as you meet with people and interact with people. So the option that you have on the left is yes, leave it on by default, which is great. The one that you have in the middle is what we call opt-in selected. You see it as selected. Now, in this one, I am able to specify specific members inside my tenancy that would have access to the LinkedIn integrations. So I can scope all these different experiences to a select set of people so that they can, probably for 2 reasons. One, so that they can try it out first. So we try it with a very specific set of, I'm sorry, my internet is slow right now. We try out with a very specific set of users so they can test run it, they can see how it works, we can build our confidence up, and then we can roll it out to a broader set of people. The other alternative is that we've heard feedback from a lot of customers saying that yes, this is incredibly valuable, but it's incredibly valuable for a specific set of people inside my organization. For sales, for HR recruiting, or for any group that really works with a lot of external people. People that they don't have information for in their contact list, they don't have information for pictures, where they work and what company they're at in their company directory. LinkedIn really helps fill in those gaps. And the third option being no, that would turn it off for your entire tenancy. Now, one thing that I want to call out, this tripped us up even in preparations for these demos. There was a day where our hair was on fire because our demos weren't working. It was maybe a week ago or a week and a half ago where stuff wasn't working. We had to sit down with our engineers, and they politely kind of let us know, like, so what did you do? Did you try it out? Did you actually did you turn it off as a tenancy? I'm like, no, it's on, but did you turn it off like just a while ago? Yes, we did. Yeah, that's it. So in order to make sure that all these integrations are very performant, we don't do that check of are you opted in a tenancy with every single call, because that's an expensive call to make. So we cache that response, and if you turn it off, it's definitely immediate. It will shut it off for everyone in your tenancy. But once you turn it back on, that takes 24 hours to flush the caches so that you're able to enjoy the experience. So we had to wait 24 hours to continue working on the demo that we wanted to bring to you. That was an interesting moment. But it made us relax, and that, yes, we know what we're doing. So with that, and also to note, if you decide to turn it off, we do want to get the feedback. We are welcoming any sort of feedback that we can get on, are these experiences that we're providing to you, are they value enough so that your end users can, or the users of your tenancy can enjoy them, or will it make them more productive, and will it make their day job better, helping them achieve more through people?
And if there's something we're not doing that you think we should do used on all that wealth of LinkedIn data, let us know. We will look at that as integration points as well.
This is number 5. Mm-hmm. Okay. With that, there's one more announcement. We've already heard feedback that yes, that middle option that you gave us for selecting users is definitely useful. We need it. Please keep it there. But please make it easier. So in targeted release and releasing out further through this, by the end of this calendar year, we'll be able to make it easier to select what users or to scope what users have access to the LinkedIn integrations by using security groups, which makes it a lot easier to manage who enters this pool of users that can benefit from these experiences. So we've given you a wealth of information. We showed you a bunch of the different integrations that we have with LinkedIn, of how it shows up in the profile card, new integrations that are coming online in targeted release by the end of the year. We'll have a summary of all the roadmaps coming soon, or in the next slide. But there's 3 easy links, and you can go ahead and look at these. I believe the decks are going to be made available to you. You can note them down right now. They're really easy links for aka.ms links. But you can read through this. These are all the publicly available documentation that talk about what we went through today, of the flow that you go through when you connect your accounts, of the data that's shared for each of the 2 consents, and even the frequently asked questions that we get of how's the data privacy handled, what information is being stored, does it actually get stored, does it do import, or does it come live, is it fresh, and how we manage all this information. And with that, to wrap it up, we have the roadmap. We demoed a lot of experiences, starting with the profile card that you already have available today in Outlook Web, Desktop, Mobile, and more. We have the LinkedIn profile card experiences on Outlook Web. It's in targeted release now, and it's going to be rolling out to worldwide by the end of the year. We also saw the LinkedIn profile card experience for Outlook Desktop. That's an insider fast right now. and will be rolling out to the rest of insiders and to production by the end of the year. The one catch that I do need to remind everyone is that you need your tenancy to be opted in, as well as having the client bits on Outlook Desktop or the desktop clients to be able to use this experience. And it's not just Outlook Desktop, it's also, once you have it there, once you have it configured in Outlook and you have Outlook running with your mail account, it'll also be available in the rest of the desktop applications such as Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. For Outlook Mobile, the experience that you saw yesterday, and you saw little glimpses of it today, and Jeff Teeper's demo, that experience is gonna be available in iOS early next year. And the other experiences that we went through, those previews, such as LinkedIn suggestions and email addressing, the highlights for people in meetings, and the improved administrator management of LinkedIn integrations through user groups, that is gonna be available at an in-targeted release in Outlook Web by the end of this calendar year. And the demos that you saw by my friend John Melling, the people search and people favorites, those are in targeted release already, and will continue the rollout as people onboard to the new Outlook experience.
All right, some related sessions we think you should attend. Obviously, if you want to take a photo of those, we're not going to go through them, but it's looking at our partners in Outlook and calendars. We also recommend you going to see the Groups team. The Groups team is doing a lot of innovation that is building on the same framework that the people cards are building on. So we definitely do recommend you to go and see that as well. Please evaluate this session, give us feedback if there's anything we could have done better, differently. We do evaluate and appreciate that. And with that, we're going to open up for questions. And we have some of these we want to give away as well. So Rebecca and Pushkar are going to, and please use the microphones for questions so that, because this is recorded, people who see this online can also catch the questions.
So I'm interested from an enterprise search perspective and talking to the Microsoft Search folks. Was there a reason why you didn't include skills and endorsements in kind of the card implementation?
Of the card implementation?
Yes.
So that is something we would have to look into adding. I know that you most likely want to talk to the gentleman on the front seat with the white shirt here, who's actually working on the search team. So if you want to know about the search integration, I would refer you to him. They also have a search booth inside of the expo hall.
Yes, and I have spoken with him. I'm looking more, as we look at through all the different modes with which one can search, and Outlook is definitely one of them.
Yep.
People are looking for skill searches, so they're looking for experts, and so it's not just the context within the documents that have been shared.
And I do agree, having that on the card would help you contextualize who this person is.
Okay, second question.
Yes.
Are there any usage metrics on how people are using LinkedIn within the Microsoft 365 experience? So as people create the linkages, and is there any sort of metrics behind the scenes that the administrators can see?
That the administrators can see, no, we do not.
Okay.
But that would be a good thing to look into adding.
It's like an adoption thing,
Yeah.
just to see.
How many inside your tenants have actually done the binding, all of those things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're also doing a lot of work in progress right now to help. For example, we went through two cases, one where we showed search results and one where we went through exact matches. So we're working on exploring specific cases on how we can leverage the usage inside a specific tenant to be able to help improve relevance of searches and to help maximize those cases where you actually don't see search results, that you just go straight to the person.
Yes, and
So
that's my point, yeah.
Yeah, so that is definitely in progress and stuff that we're working on already to help improve.
Okay, great, thanks.
LinkedIn has a proximity tool nearby. Are there any plans to integrate that into Outlook?
Not at the moment, but it's something definitely that's worth exploring. There's a wealth of information that we can get from LinkedIn, even as we mentioned earlier from the previous question, the skills and endorsements. Those are things that we kind of have on the list of like what are the next things that we're able to bring to be able to bring more value to the tenancies.
Okay, thank you.
with things like the integration and the insights that you've shown in the meeting invites, are there any plans to bring that to some of the other collaboration apps? So an example that I'll give, so I work for a Microsoft partner. Our preferred collaboration method is through Microsoft Teams, whether that's federated with the client or them in our tenant as a guest. So we're often in big group chats or in big teams with lots of different people from client side. So having this information would be quite valuable in that.
So we are looking at that. One concrete example that we are working on is having insights on the people cards or the profile cards. And we're actually building a service where Microsoft partners can take the insights and show them in their experience. So that is definitely something we are making sure can happen.
And to build on top of John's response, as many of the experiences that are kind of brand new, and these are the first time that we're kind of testing them now and releasing them, you're going to see that same pattern where we try it once in one endpoint, and then once it's proven out, like yes, now we have the plan of going out to the rest of the Office Microsoft 365 suite.
We want exactly. We want to get the mix right in one place instead of experimenting in many different endpoints at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that we want to light up across the board.
Cool. Perfect. Cheers.
Hi.
Hey.
Something that I experience a lot with my organization is having to reassure people that what they see on their Delve card isn't what everyone else sees.
Yep.
And I explain, it's only what you have permission, what you've shared, and that's all good. So today I was following along and I decided I wanted to see what I'd written on my profile card. And I'm on my iPhone through iPhone Mail. I click through some connections, get to my own card. And because our healthcare opt-in is coming in, I've written down my blood pressure and my height and my weight because I need all this to get a discount. And it's showing up right there in my card because it's the notes on my iPhone contact. So in my iPhone contact, I've got some personal information. It shows up on my card. The question is, how can someone see what everyone else sees?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have looked at that previously to sort of we think of the card as a way to brand yourself inside your company. Your profile is a way to brand. Let people know what you're working on. And when you do that, you're sort of in the me flow. You're looking at your own data. But the most important part is, as you say, how is this seen by everyone else?
Right.
So we have talked about sort of having a toggle you can click to show the card as somebody else would
Yeah,
see
like
it.
LinkedIn does that,
Yeah,
right?
but we have not done that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just mentioned LinkedIn does that?
There used to have it where
Okay.
you could see it how other people
Yeah,
see
that's
it.
what I was going to check right now. I believe I've seen it before. You can't, don't quote me on it. But since, as we mentioned in the talk, we abide by all the privacy settings that go by on LinkedIn. So if you use that functionality, if it's available on LinkedIn to see what first degree contacts can see you as or what other members can see you as, that's definitely what would carry over to the experiences that you saw.
But this is outside of
Yeah.
the LinkedIn.
And
But-
to your point, right?
So somehow I'm sure I've
Yeah.
connected my iPhone contacts to
Yes.
Yeah.
my Outlook and
So to your point, the profile card reads contact data. It reads AD data. So it basically stitches together a view of what the person looks like. So understanding how we stitch together that view and also allowing you to see how other people will see you, we think is super valuable. We just have not gotten around to building that yet.
okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
So our organization don't currently use that LinkedIn component. Is that something that we can work with our local Microsoft account manager to implement if desired?
I didn't catch the
I
question.
didn't catch the very
Well,
beginning.
if we want to sort of implement that LinkedIn component, is that something that we will work with our local Microsoft account manager with in terms of implementing? Does that make sense?
In order to get the LinkedIn experience and profile
yeah.
cards?
Or I guess where I'm going with it is that I'm assuming it's part of our sort of corporate account with Microsoft. So,
So you would need a Microsoft subscription for your tenant, but I assume you already have
yeah,
that.
we do.
And with that, we don't say that it's for any specific SKU. If your tenant leaves this on and the user does this connection flow, you should see that data out of the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Sorry.
right. Thank
So
you.
yeah, so as we mentioned, this is one of the features that's rolling on by default. So as long as you have that Microsoft subscription, the Microsoft 365 subscription, and you're in control of your tenancy, it'll light up for you. And if you're not in the regions that I called out, that list of tenancies where the mailbox was provisioned in Germany and France, and then the government clouds.
I realize that this is let's call it a third-party connection, even though it's Microsoft and Microsoft. But is there anywhere on your roadmap where the same compliance and policy features of my Office 365 can be applied to that data? Because if I go back to my security team and say, hey, we can link all this data together, they're going to start panicking about what's going where, and yes, obviously you can see, but if the same compliance and policies are applied, then there's a level of reassurance from a corporate level. I'm sure it's not on the roadmap, but maybe...
It actually is on the roadmap.
It is or it isn't?
It is.
Oh, excellent.
It is in that. So we're working on other solutions on how you can bring that data in a compliant fashion into. I can't talk to specifics on dates,
get it.
but it's something that we're working on.
Oh, neat.
Yes.
Cool.
We still have a lot of bottles left.
Yeah. So
Please feel free to take one, even if you don't have a question. If you want to talk to us with the microphone off, we can definitely be available right after this session is over, which is now in
Is these sessions are
1 minute, 20 seconds.
is these sessions are recorded so that we can go
yep,
through?
Yes.
they're definitely recorded, so
Yep.
you can go back to it.
In the app we can go through?
I actually don't know the details on how you can actually get to the recordings, but I know that they should be recorded on Tech Community.
Tech community?
Yeah, and if you have any further questions, we're also going to be from time to time at the Outlook booth in the expo hall. So if you find us there, you can we're happy to answer any questions about the LinkedIn integrations and the people features that we've showed.
And please give us feedback. We really want it. Okay, thank you so
Thank you.
much, everyone. And please grab a bottle.